Good afternoon. I'm Donovan Knowledge again, the president of what was at one time called Simple Solutions, but now the state of Virginia has notified me that that name is already taken, so we're now going to be called the Levi Club Incorporated. And basically, the agenda is still the same. We're still trying to create a network of churches. We're still trying to generate a black think tank. We're still trying to basically create a black safety net. So, regardless of the name change, everything is still the same. So, what I wanted to begin to do was just to put sort of a weekly, I guess you could almost call it a verbal blog or just something basically to share my ideas on a particular news story that's covered and how um, Simple Solutions, the program, can actually provide some some resolution for people who just see these things. They're like, oh my God, what are these people doing? This week we're going to be talking about how Bank of America is essentially creating a new $5 debit card fee, which is which is new, especially like myself, you have a debit card, it's your money. You don't really feel like you should have to pay to use your own money, but so now they're charging for that. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that and tie it into how my particular project can actually sort of walk us or slowly wean us away from this greedy type of system that they're forcing us to live in. Of course, you need a bank account. You need that for to make your purchases and somewhere to hold your money. But apparently, it's got to the point where we just cannot trust these institutions. They're making tons of money with our money, and really, we are the power. We are the currency that actually keeps them in power. So even though it's hard to just pull the plug, there's a way that we can actually slowly begin to navigate ourselves away from this nonsense because really they're just getting ridiculous. But let me just sort of go over what I wrote really quickly here, and that is Bank of America is of course creating a fee for debit card users. It goes into effect next year. It's a $5 monthly fee that will be applied for the use of your debit card. Now, wow, just think about that. I don't know how many customers Bank of America has, but if we just do a little bit of math, we have a $5 fee per month. We have 12 months in a year. And for the sake of argument, I just picked this number out of the sky. Let's say Bank of America has 100 million customers, or if not 100 million customers, at least 100 million debit card accounts. All right. So in 1 month, based on that account, that number of accounts, they would actually have $500 million. Okay, so if we multiply that times 12 for how much that would be in a year, that would actually turn out to be $6 billion just from a $5 fee. Now that's not too bad. I mean, throwing the fact they're letting go of 30,000 individuals, they plan to save a lot of money while generating gobs of money. I mean, how else can the president of Bank of America pay for his private jet? Well, like most people, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And the media will cover the story, but of course, there's nothing more after that. I mean, it's just like, hey, you're about to get screwed. Just bend over. There's no resolution. There's no story to say, well, what do we do to stop it? There's no story to say, well, what can we do to fight it? So I'm offering here a solution. But first, I just want to echo the sentiment that I think is felt around the world about corporate irresponsibility. We see constantly that the vast majority of rich do not want to share. And in the Obama administration, it's like pulling teeth, trying to convince those who have plenty to contribute in order to refuel the economy. I mean, I hear class warfare and all of these things. And again, I'm not really into the politics. I don't trust Democrats or Republicans. I barely trust independents. But the fact of the matter is, they're in power. They're making the decisions. So I have to kind of watch what's going on. But essentially, you see this sentiment echoed quite frequently. And I'm also convinced that there's something more sinister that's going on here. It's never really covered. Again, I'm not going to get into all the conspiracy side of everything, but essentially, I do feel like this is not something that's a mistake, or this is not something that reasonable people can actually figure their way out of. So again, I won't go into details, but I hope by now you do see the contradiction of how the wealthy did not wish to be inconvenienced by higher taxes, yet they're willing to spend tons of money on keeping out Mexicans and starting new wars. You know, so my argument here is to just, I'm past the point of getting upset over these things, but basically it should be obvious that they just want to hoard as much money as they can and also protect their money. Well, that's what that's what they can do. That's their full right to do that. Well, the fact of the matter is that their money is really our money. With the banks, we've made the mistake of allowing them to convince us that they share our interests, or the decision makers are us, or that they even just plain give a crap about us. And they really don't. You see the Bank of America commercials, everybody's shaking hands, they're helping families. They have a new commercial out where they're talking about they gave $7.8 billion to small businesses. Well, if they gave $7.8 billion to small businesses, they're going to make $10 billion off of that, or debt, or liquidate their assets. So bottom line, it's not like it's an actual good thing, So, you see it, so it's just, propaganda. But anyway, moving on to the next section. They fire us, because I used to actually work at Bank of America. They fire employees in order to maintain overblown budgets that keep CEOs and board members in the good old boy network filthy rich. As a former employee of Bank of America, the first year that I worked there, the previous years, the employees at my particular location received a $2,000 bonus for that year. They had a good fiscal year. The following fiscal year, the company didn't do as well, and we didn't get a bonus. However, I do recall that the CEO did receive a bonus in the neighborhood of $1.6 to $2 million, and it seems inconceivable that you can reward a person whose decision making has cost the company, tons of money, but at the same time won't actually offer a bonus or barely pay the frontline employees enough to pay their bills. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I wasn't broke poor, but I mean, cost of living is so ridiculous. By the time you get a car and apartment, the majority of your money's gone. So, as the president and director of the Simple Solutions program, I've created a fund to centralize the tithe of 100,000 churches, with the intent of creating a black safety net. Again, we want these churches to merely give $10 a week. You can visit the website www.simplechanges.com to get more insight on what we're planning to do and how we're planning to do it. But if successful, this will generate $1 million weekly that will be redistributed and maximized for African Americans and the larger diaspora, and even other Americans. We can all kind of make this happen. But part of this initiative is to create our own bank or our own pool of wealth where we can house our money without being bullied by decision makers whose goal it is to nickel and dime you out of all that you've worked for and all that you saved for. However, having said that, I have 3 basic steps or 3 tips that we can work toward that can change this. Again, this is not something that's going to happen overnight, but we must not forget that this is our money that is going to self-serving individuals.